Dominik Mysterio just issued the most shocking and defiant warning to Finn Balor in the entire Judgment Day after his crushing defeat on WWE RAW, and what he said backstage is going to explode the faction from the inside out and change everything we thought we knew about the most dominant group in WWE. Dirty Dom is done being disrespected and blamed for losses, and his message to Finn Balor was so direct and threatening that it has created a civil war within Judgment Day that could tear apart WWE's most successful faction at the worst possible time. The cracks are showing, the egos are clashing, and someone is going to pay the price for this implosion. Before I break down every word of Dominik's explosive warning, explain why this could signal the end of Judgment Day as we know it, and reveal which member might be the next to turn on the group, you need to understand that what Dom said wasn't just venting frustration, it was a calculated declaration of war against the leadership structure that has kept him down for too long. Hashtag the loss that triggered everything. Dominik Mysterio's loss on Raw wasn't just another defeat, it was a humiliating beatdown that exposed the internal dysfunction within Judgment Day and set the stage for what's becoming an inevitable explosion. The match itself showed Dom fighting alone without meaningful support from his Judgment Day brothers, creating the impression that the faction's unity is already crumbling before this public confrontation. Throughout the match, cameras caught Finn Balor watching backstage with visible frustration and disappointment, making it clear that he was already planning to use this loss as ammunition against Dominic. The post-match angle saw Dominic taking excessive punishment beyond what was necessary, almost as if he was being sacrificed to make a point about individual failures versus team success. Commentary emphasized that this was Dominic's third consecutive loss in important matches, building a narrative that he's become a weak link in an otherwise dominant faction. The pressure was being applied systematically. Finn Balor's body language and expressions throughout the show suggested he was already preparing to confront Dom about his performance, setting up the inevitable backstage confrontation that would change everything. Hashtag the backstage confrontation that exploded. The confrontation between Dominik Mysterio and Finn Balor backstage was absolutely explosive, with both men saying things that cannot be taken back and creating fractures that might be impossible to repair. Finn approached Dom immediately after the loss, not with support or encouragement, but with criticism and blame. The leadership style was more dictator than brother, immediately putting Dom on the defensive. Balor's opening statement was reportedly, "You're making us all look weak. Every time you step in that ring lately, you embarrass the Judgment Day." The public criticism in front of other roster members was deliberately humiliating. Dominic's response shocked everyone present. Instead of apologizing or making excuses, he fired back, "Where were you when I needed backup? Where was the Judgment Day when I was getting destroyed? You want to talk about making us look weak?" The argument escalated with Finn reminding Dom that he gave him everything: his career, his success, his identity. The paternalistic attitude and sense of ownership over Dominic's career was on full display. Dom's response was the moment that changed everything: "You didn't give me anything. I earned my place, and I'm sick of being blamed every time something goes wrong while you take credit when things go right." Other Judgment Day members watching the confrontation were visibly uncomfortable, with McDonagh and Carlito exchanging glances that suggested they might sympathize with some of Dom's points. Hashtag the warning that shook Judgment Day. After the heated exchange with Finn, Dominik Mysterio delivered a warning that was captured on camera and has since gone viral across social media, fundamentally changing the power dynamics within the faction. Dom looked directly at Finn and said, "You want to blame me? Fine. But remember this: I'm a Mysterio. I don't need Judgment Day. Judgment Day needs me. And if you keep pushing, you're going to find out what happens when you turn your back on family." The reference to family was clearly deliberate, invoking both his wrestling legacy and the faction's supposed brotherhood while suggesting that Finn has violated both concepts through his treatment of Dom. Dom continued, "I've carried this group through storylines, carried the heat, taken the losses to protect everyone else. But I'm done being the scapegoat. Next time someone needs to take a fall to make the group look good, maybe it should be the leader for once." The challenge to Finn's leadership was direct and unmistakable. Dom wasn't just venting, he was positioning himself as an alternative voice within the faction that others might rally behind. The most threatening part came at the end. Watch what happens when Dirty Dom decides he's had enough. "You built this group, Finn, but I can tear it down from the inside. And maybe I will." The threat wasn't just about leaving, it was about actively destroying Judgment Day by turning members against each other or revealing secrets that could damage the group's credibility. Hashtag why this changes everything for Judgment Day. Dominic's warning isn't just typical faction drama, it represents a fundamental shift in power dynamics and character development that could reshape one of WWE's most important storylines. Dom has evolved from the nervous rookie who needed Judgment Day's protection into a confident performer who recognizes his own value and resents being treated as expendable. The character growth makes this rebellion believable. The facts support Dom's position: he has been the most consistently present member, carrying storylines with Rhea Ripley, generating massive heat from crowds, and creating memorable moments that elevated the entire group. Finn's leadership style, once portrayed as strong and decisive, is now being exposed as potentially tyrannical and short-sighted. Leaders who blame others for failures while taking credit for successes don't maintain loyalty. The other Judgment Day members are watching this conflict and calculating their own positions. If Finn can turn on DOM this easily, who's next? The atmosphere of paranoia and self-preservation could destroy the group. The timing is significant because Judgment Day has been showing cracks for months through various small tensions and disagreements. Dom's warning might be the catalyst that finally shatters the illusion of unity. #The internal faction politics exposed. This confrontation has pulled back the curtain on the internal politics and power struggles within Judgment Day that have been simmering beneath the surface for months. McDonagh's position as Finn's right-hand man puts him in an awkward spot. Does he support his leader's criticism of DOM, or does he recognize that DOM has valid points about scapegoating? Carlito's relative newcomer status means he's watching this veteran drama unfold and learning valuable lessons about faction loyalty and when to pick sides. His decision could determine the faction's future. The absence of Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley from recent Judgment Day activities suddenly looks more significant. Were they forced out, or did they see these internal problems coming and escape before the explosion? The power vacuum created by Priest and Ripley's departures has clearly created tension between Finn and DOM about who should fill that leadership and star power gap. Both men believe they deserve more. Dom's relationship with Rhea created a power base within the faction that Finn never had. The romantic connection gave DOM influence and protection that Finn resented and has been systematically trying to eliminate. Finn Balor's desperate position. While Dom's warning was explosive, Finn Balor's reaction and current position within WWE might be even more desperate than it initially appears, explaining why he's lashing out at subordinates. Finn has never won the WWE Championship despite multiple opportunities, creating a career narrative of almost success that must gnaw at someone with his talent and tenure. The frustration is boiling over. The Judgment Day was supposed to be Finn's vehicle to finally achieve championship glory and main event dominance, but it's become increasingly clear that the faction's success hasn't translated to personal achievement. Dom's star power with casual fans, particularly through his heel work and relationship with Rhea, has arguably surpassed Finn's in terms of mainstream recognition and social media engagement. Being upstaged by your mentee creates resentment. Finn's age and career stage mean he doesn't have unlimited time to achieve his goals, creating desperation that manifests as controlling behavior and refusal to share spotlight with rising stars like DOM. The fact that DOM dared to challenge Finn publicly suggests that DOM no longer fears the consequences, indicating that Finn's power within the faction has already diminished significantly. The other members' impossible choice. McDonagh, Carlito, and any other Judgment Day members are now facing an impossible choice that will define their careers and potentially create new alliances throughout WWE's roster. Siding with Finn provides alignment with established leadership, protection from Finn's political power, potential championship opportunities through his connections, but risk being on the wrong side if Dom's rebellion succeeds. Siding with DOM provides alliance with the faction's most over member with crowds, connection to the Mysterio legacy and fan support, positioning as part of the new generation, but risk Finn's retaliation and political damage. Staying neutral provides avoiding immediate conflict, maintaining relationships with both sides, but appearing weak and indecisive, missing opportunity to rise through faction chaos. The smartest play might be secretly allying with one side while publicly claiming neutrality, but that requires political skills and timing that could backfire spectacularly. The Rhea Ripley factor. Although Rhea Ripley is currently separated from Judgment Day storylines, her connection to Dominic creates a wild card element that could dramatically impact how this faction war plays out. Rhea and Dom's relationship was the emotional core of Judgment Day for casual fans, creating investment and storylines that elevated the entire group. Her absence has left a void that contributes to current tensions. If DOM leaves or is kicked out of Judgment Day, does Rhea return to support him against her former faction? The romantic connection could override faction loyalty and create a powerful partnership. Conversely, Rhea might see Dom's conflict with Finn as an opportunity to return to Judgment Day as a peacemaker or kingmaker, using her influence to broker power-sharing arrangements. The possibility of Rhea forming a new faction with DOM as co-leaders would give them an alternative power base while allowing them to recruit members away from Judgment Day's remnants. Finn's treatment of DOM might offend Rhea's sense of loyalty and fairness, potentially turning her against Finn even if she doesn't immediately reunite with DOM on screen. The faction breakup scenarios. WWE has multiple directions available for how this Judgment Day civil war could play out, each with different implications for all members and the broader roster. Complete dissolution. The faction explodes completely with everyone going their separate ways. This creates maximum roster movement but wastes the Judgment Day brand that WWE has invested in building. Dom's exile. Finn kicks DOM out while keeping other members, positioning DOM as a face who was betrayed by his brothers. This creates sympathy for DOM while maintaining Judgment Day as heels. Finn's overthrow. DOM leads a coup with other members turning on Finn, taking over the faction and evolving it into a new generation group. Finn becomes the face seeking revenge against his former family. Split factions *. The group divides into competing versions of Judgment Day, creating instant feuds and tag team matches while maintaining the brand recognition of both groups. Hostile takeover *. An outside force uses the internal strife to attack and conquer Judgment Day while they're divided, creating new mega-faction dynamics and elevating previously unaffiliated wrestlers. ### The Dominic character evolution. This storyline represents a crucial character evolution for Dominik Mysterio that could define the next phase of his career and determine whether he becomes a main event player. Dom started as the ultimate entitled heel who succeeded through family connections and faction protection. His rebellion against that narrative shows character growth and self-awareness. The willingness to risk everything by challenging Finn demonstrates confidence and self-belief that Dom previously lacked. He's transitioning from protected follower to independent operator. Dom's recognition of his own value and contributions to Judgment Day's success shows business awareness and political thinking that suggests he could succeed as a leader rather than just a member. The threat to destroy Judgment Day from within reveals a ruthless streak and strategic thinking that makes him more dangerous and interesting as a character. Whether Dom turns face or remains heel through this conflict, the added dimension of someone fighting for respect and recognition rather than just causing chaos makes him more relatable and compelling. ### The booking possibilities and dream matches. This faction conflict creates incredible match possibilities and storylines that could sustain WWE programming for months while elevating multiple careers. Dominic vs Finn Balor singles match. The final confrontation between mentor and student with faction leadership or membership on the line creates natural drama. Judgment Day multi-person warfare, street fight, cage match, or other no-rules environment where former brothers destroy each other. War Games positioning. If this faction war extends to Survivor Series season, splitting Judgment Day across two War Games teams creates perfect symmetry. Championship implications. Dom or Finn using this feud to pursue championships while sabotaging each other's opportunities. Tag Team Tournament chaos. Former partners forced to compete against each other while trying to recruit new allies. Royal Rumble scenario. Multiple Judgment Day members in the Rumble simultaneously, creating opportunities for betrayals and alliances in real time. ### Conclusion. A faction at the breaking point. Dominik Mysterio's explosive warning to Finn Balor and Judgment Day has created one of WWE's most compelling faction drama storylines, with genuine uncertainty about how this conflict resolves and who emerges victorious. The internal politics, competing egos, and legitimate grievances on both sides create a situation where fans can understand multiple perspectives rather than having clearly defined heroes and villains. Dom's character evolution from protected rookie to confident rebel challenging his mentor represents exactly the kind of growth and development that creates long-term stars. Finn Balor's desperation and controlling behavior exposes the insecurity beneath his cool exterior, making him more interesting as a character whether he remains heel or transitions to sympathetic villain. The faction warfare creates opportunities for every member to showcase personality and in-ring work while making meaningful decisions that affect their character trajectories. This is WrestlingNewsCC, and Judgment Day is on the verge of explosion. Do you think Dominic is right to challenge Finn's leadership, or is he being ungrateful and disloyal? Who would you side with in this faction war, Team Finn or Team Dom? Drop your predictions about how this ends and whether Judgment Day survives. Like and share this video because this storyline is about to get even more insane.